Alright guys, we've got some big breaking news here on the footballchronicle.com. This has just reached us now. Mykhailo Mudryk, the Chelsea footballer, has failed a drugs test. Let's have a look at what has happened here and what could happen potentially to the Ukrainian international. Full article here on the BBC Sport. Shout out to Sean Kearns for covering this. So, Chelsea winger Mykhailo Mudryk has failed a drugs test, the Premier League club has confirmed. The Blues say they were contacted by the Football Association after an adverse finding in a routine urine test. For those that don't know, after each football match, a randomly selected footballer from each team, or at least a few of them, have to provide a urine test. This basically shows whether there are any banned substances, any performance-enhancing drugs in their system when they played the match that they just completed. Mudryk obviously did this recently, and obviously as well, there is an abnormality in there. But let's have a look at what's gone on here. Ukrainian international Mudryk denies knowingly using any banned substance, and Chelsea say they will work to establish what caused the test result. This has come as a complete shock, as I have never knowingly used any banned substances or broke any rules, and I'm working closely with my team to investigate how this could have happened, Mudryk wrote on Instagram. I know that I have not done anything wrong and remain hopeful that I will be back on the pitch soon. It's unclear which banned substance was found in Mudryk's test, and the BBC Sport has contacted the FA for further comment. Presumably they have not responded yet. I imagine they're probably getting a few calls right now over this. The 23-year-old last played for Chelsea on the 28th of November and has missed the past 5 matches in all competitions. He was included in the matchday squad for the Blues' win against Aston Villa on the 1st of December, but did not feature. Head coach Enzo Maresca has said publicly that Mudryk's absence was down to illness. Mudryk, who signed from Ukrainian club Shakhtar Donetsk in a deal worth up to £89 million in 2023, has scored 10 goals in 73 appearances for Chelsea. But yeah, he's not really justified that price tag, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this drugs test. So, like I said, if you get caught with a banned substance in your urine, that basically indicates that, you've took it at some point. Now, we don't know what this is. We don't know why he would have potentially took something. He says he denies all knowledge of it, which is kind of standard, really. He would say that no matter what, even if he did know. I'm not saying he did know, but I'm just saying if he did know, he would say that. Now, the punishment for him, depending on what it is, could be really severe. I mean, we've seen Paul Pogba not too long ago, the Juventus midfielder. He got a 3-year ban, I think, didn't he, or something like that. And I believe it was reduced to 18 months upon appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. You go back in time, you think about Rio Ferdinand, he got banned for like a year as well or something. He got banned for a long, long time. And that was a very dodgy drugs test, not on Ferdinand's part, on the authorities' parts. Things have got a lot better since then, I will say that. But in terms of Mudryk, I mean, it all depends what he's done. The problem is that these days you've got footballers that, especially when they're struggling for fitness, when they're struggling for form, doctors at clubs will sometimes prescribe them things and the players won't know what's in them. I mean, a lot of people, this just goes for people in general, they don't know really what they're putting in their bodies when it comes to medication. And I'm not here saying that, doctors are evil and stuff like that, because they're not. They're just trying to treat whatever problem that you've got here in the UK, at least. I mean, we'll talk, America's a different issue. We ain't going to touch on that, though. That's a different kind of thing when you got money involved. But here in the UK, that's kind of what happens. I mean, they just want to get their players out playing on the pitch as fit as possible, as soon as possible. They'll quite often take painkillers and sleeping pills and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's right, but they will do things like that. So it's entirely possible that Mudryk has taken an injection for something, or taken a tablet or some sort of medicine for something that has a banned substance in it. And we see this in sports all the time, where people or players will take substances, they won't know what's in them because they're prescribed by a doctor, and they get banned. There's even been cases when people have taken medications that are really benign, or just general kind of sleeping pills off their own back, and there's banned substance in them, and they get banned from sport for months. They don't know there's anything wrong in them, they're just trying to get to sleep in this example. But unfortunately, the rules on what footballers can take and can have in their systems are really, really strict. There are things that I personally wouldn't, describe as performance enhancing, things like sleeping pills, but there are some kinds of things like that, and some kinds of painkillers, for example, that are illegal in football. You can't take them. So depending on what Mudryk has done, depending on whether he had knowledge of it, depending on how often this has happened. I mean, you have to, I mean, it depends when it is as well. That's the other thing on top of that too. When it happened, he's not played for a good few weeks now. He's been ill, apparently, according to Maresca. Don't have anything to dispute that. Maybe Chelsea knew. Again, we don't know. This is just me speculating here. But Mudryk, genuinely, depending on what he has done, he could be banned from football for years for this. It could destroy his career. And I'm not saying that will happen. I'm not saying that's right. We need more facts. We need to know what he's taken, whether he knew he was taking it, how much he took, and what kind of effect that would have had on any kind of performance that he had in that time. Presumably, this has been quite recent, but at the same time, he's also not played for some time, so he won't have been tested. I could be wrong, but I don't think the FA tests unused substitutes. So I don't know if this would have come out after the game against Aston Villa at the weekend. But given the timescale of it all, you think this would come out relatively quickly, and that game was played 2 weeks ago, pretty much, just over. So we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. When we get more news about this, I'll of course bring it here on the footballchronicle.com. And yeah, we'll see you soon for some hopefully more positive news about the beautiful game. It's never nice hearing about stuff like this.